Good evening.
Good evening.
What is your name?
My name is Elise.
Elise, what brings you here?
Well, I was asked to come and just read a story about someone in my community.
That's correct. Elise, welcome to the Dear Someone Project Season 3. To your right hand side, we have a yellow envelope with the words Dear Someone on it. If you could please open it and read it to the camera.
Dear someone, I am a 34-year-old, hard-working single mom. Not long ago, I found myself at one of the darkest places in my life. Being a person full of light, love, laughter, and faith, I found myself neutral and just hanging in there, barely making it day by day. I took it upon myself to move with my son to a better neighborhood in hopes that with my new job, we would find housing and a less stressful life. I was a Florida educator with a master's degree. When I made this decision, I ran into a complete nightmare. When what was supposed to be a temporary stay in a hotel until we found housing turned into my son and I using up all our savings. I thought it would be so easy. I did not expect it would be this hard. Everyone does this. You move for work, you look for a new school and a new job, and most of all, housing. It just so happened that after months of working and paying for hotels, I ran into a problem. The cost of housing was way too high, and my friend that planned to move in with me decided to jump ship. Soon my son and I were left alone, and I quickly found that no matter how hard I worked, no matter how many hours, nothing I did would suffice. I now needed affordable housing, and every affordable housing place was, well, you guessed it, not affordable. And quickly things began to get dark for me. I began to blame myself, and I wanted to die because I had failed my son. I've always been a provider, and never has my son gone without. His dad was never in the picture. He didn't even try to get involved in his life. After suffering through so much domestic violence while pregnant with my son, we decided to split ways. So, needless to say, I was all my son had. Yet now, it was all out of my hands. I found myself upset with God because I served him faithfully, yet it looked like he was nowhere to be found. I beat myself up for trusting in a God that didn't come to my rescue when I needed him most. I felt betrayed by God for not coming to my rescue. How can he do this to his daughter? How can God forget about me and my son? Why was he silent? Why was God deaf to my cries and blind to my sleepless nights? Why was he not answering my prayers? Why was he allowing me to drown in hopelessness? But one day, God showed up to our rescue. This is the day when we were introduced to Family Promise. I found myself night after night, desperately looking for help to get out of this nightmare. It was during one of those nights when I came across a video about Family Promise. After watching it, I looked up and said, God, if these people can't help me, you and I are going to have some problems. I stepped out in faith and clicked a send button asking for help. Within days, the case manager reached out. I was shocked because I felt like so many people needed help. Why would they even respond back to me? So many people found themselves right where I was, working hard with a child and in desperate need of housing. That voicemail that she left me was a godsend. I never forget that day. Once I finished the application, my son and I were in the program and given a place to stay for weeks. We were provided with hot meals each night, toiletries, sheets, blankets, beds, a peace of mind, hope, and love. As I went through the shelter program 4 months, we moved into Almost Hope Transitional House provided by Family Promise. There, I was able to get back on my feet financially and rebuild my savings which had been lost. I was able to find safe housing for my son, and I would not have been able to do this without their help. They took away the panic, the mental panic that drains you and allows you not to sleep at night. It's hard when your basic needs aren't met trying to conduct a plan for life. It was hard having to answer my son about how long we would be homeless. But Family Promise brought such necessary relief to my worries, and I am grateful forever. I hope and pray nobody else has to go through this, but if they do, and they are willing to work hard, Family Promise will help you. Sincerely, someone. P.S. Would you be my voice?
What thoughts or emotions are processing right now after reading this letter?
Well, I'm glad that she found help in the end. I think that it's really reflective, like she said, of a lot of families that are just going day by day and still not really getting ahead, and even brings up feelings that I resonate with. I'm also an educator, and to know that someone would be in a school building, also serving students alongside me and going through this at home is just like very surprising, I think, and something that I would like to do, I think, better in how I treat my colleagues.
If the writer was here in front of you, what would you like to say to her?
Congratulations, I think, first of all, and good job to you for working through, for trusting God through a really hard time, and thank you for wanting to be an inspiration to others. That's not always easy.
How do you think you could be this person's voice?
I think by being honest about what's happening to people in our community, by sharing this story with others, by not judging people for the things that they go through, and by realizing that it's not because you're not trying, but truly there are systems in place that make it really difficult for mothers, particularly to provide, and just being honest about that with our community. Hi, my name is Elise, and I will be your voice.